I bought a house when I was 26 and fell immediately into poverty. Okay, when I lived with my parents, I was living my best luxury lifestyle. I went to South Korea, bought a 2000 plane ticket, didn't even blink twice. I went shopping, luxury goods, all that. Was traveling, was just, I was living it up. I felt rich. I had no bills. And I had a full-time 9 to 5 job. I was working as a nurse. Okay, I was killing it. I bought my own house. That first mortgage payment came in and I was like, oh, this is a situation. But at first you think you can handle it, right? Like, what's a couple thou? What's a couple thou?
This guy's saying they're house poor. How can you navigate to save you more money? Because right now people's mortgages are going up and a lot of Americans right now are kind of regretting buying a house. I know people talk about how buying a house is great, how buying a house builds wealth, but in this case, people are going broke. Not to mention a lot of people are coming out saying, was buying a house a mistake? Because some people are buying homes that are way too expensive. Guys, interest rates is like 5 to 6% and it's increasing. Everything's getting more expensive. This guy's salary is fantastic at $220,000. But still though, almost a $700,000 house, put 10% down, 30-year mortgage, okay, over 5% interest rates. Property taxes are going to be super expensive for a house like this. HOA, if it's in a condo building, is going to be super high. And don't even get me started with utilities and internet. That stuff is several $100s a month.
I think I fully regret buying a house now. Like, it's not the worst choice I ever made, but it's so expensive. But at the same time, it's exactly what rent would be costing me anyways. I'm almost an hour away from where I want to be.
A lot of people cannot make progress financially because they are house poor and they probably don't even know it. Being house poor is when you own a home that you cannot afford. What does that look like? When you have a payment that is a very big percentage of what you make monthly and all you can afford basically is to pay the mortgage. By the time you cover all your house expenses, you are basically left with nothing. I think it's important to talk about this because people are under the impression that as long as you own a home, you're winning. And that is not the case. If you are owning a home stressed out because by the end of the month, you have nothing left, you cannot afford that. That is what we call you bought too much house. With your monthly income, you should be able to pay your mortgage, set money aside, invest, basically still have a life, right? And not feel like you're drowning and not feel like you can't breathe. The biggest, smartest way to do this is waiting to buy a house when you are ready. Not when the pressure is, when are you going to buy a house? When are you going to buy a house? Oh, everyone buys a house when they get married. Why aren't you? No, you need to buy a house when you're ready. Doing this when you're ready looks like this. You should be debt free. You should have an emergency fund and you should aim to have a really good down payment. 5, 10, 15, 20% down. And that will give you margin. That will give you breathing room. That will make sure you are doing this the right way. So don't let anyone pressure you into this. Buying a house is the biggest expense you're ever going to make, at least for most of us. Make sure you're doing this the right way.
For anyone buying a house or has recently bought a house, they will tell you, or one thing you need to know is about buyer's regret. As soon as you get the keys to that house, you're going to be thinking in your head, what the hell have I done? I've spent part of my life savings on junk. Like, take it back. Take them and collect the house back. This is rubbish. You're literally going to feel like in the bottom of your stomach, like it's going to drop out from you like, what have I done? This is a mistake. And that's called buyer's regret. Everyone gets it. Everyone goes through it. If you're a homeowner and you've gone through it, leave your story in the comments. Because I know as soon as I opened the house, like I was elated. But once I started thinking about the work that needed to be done, or I started calling up my builder, I just had this sinking feeling in my heart like, oh my God, what have I done? I want my money back. But yeah, it's normal, guys.
The war in Iran is affecting the real estate market today. The mortgage interest rate that we're sitting right below 6% at the end of February have increased, reaching 6.35% today. And as a result of having higher mortgage interest rate, this will put pressure on homeowners to reduce their asking price. This could influence the spring selling season as we might have less first-time home buyers entering the market who were waiting for mortgage rates to keep decreasing and inventory to increase. Investors pulling from the volatile stock market and reinvesting into tangible real estate assets like long-term rentals, short-term rentals, and more.
We just got the bill for our very first mortgage payment on our new house, and it's about 2.5 times what we were paying before. We're paying $311 a month toward principal, $1,663 a month toward interest, and $484 going into our escrow account for taxes and insurance, bringing our total mortgage payment to $2,428. Our last mortgage was only $1,000 a month, so this was quite the big jump, and we did not take it lightly. Firstly, we paid off our last house back in February. That gave us the last 10 months with no mortgage payment at all that allowed us to stack cash for the down payment on this house and also build up a reserve of cash savings because we knew that our expenses were going to be significantly higher when we got to this new house. We made sure that we had 6 months of emergency savings in place before increasing our housing costs. We also went with a new build, so any major repairs are going to be covered under warranty for the first year, but even with that, a higher mortgage and more house means more risk, so we definitely plan to keep growing our emergency savings going forward. And finally, we are always looking for ways to increase our income. My husband just changed jobs and increased his salary by $23,000, and that house is becoming a rental property in 2026, so that income will be part of the margin that we've created. I think it's a really dangerous game to be relying on rent so you can pay your mortgage. That's not what I'm going for at all, so I wanted to make sure that we could comfortably afford this payment without relying on rental income. All of these have been very intentional decisions over the last several months just to really make sure that when we got into this new house, we weren't feeling house poor or really squeezed.
Duke Energy, you need to count your days, because why is the light bill going from $200 to $1,000? What is going on? Anybody else in North Carolina where that light bill has gone up to $1,000 or even more? Like, what are we doing? This weather is changing. We got to keep the heat on. Then it gets cold. Then it snows. Then it rains. Then it want to be sunny again. Like, am I the only one? I know I'm not the only one, because actually before my grandma passed away, her bill actually with Duke Energy was like 3 something, maybe 2 something, and went up to $1,000. And I'm like, what in the world we got to plug in? We got to start unplugging everything before we leave the house. Unplug the TV, unplug the refrigerator, unplug the deep freezers, unplug the microwave, stop turning the lights on during the daytime. Just use the lights, put the blinds up. I don't know, but Duke Energy,
I want to know how much your mortgage is and what your interest rate is if you bought a house after like 2023, because I don't know how you're doing it, but please tell me, what is your mortgage and your interest rate? I'm asking this because my son lost his tooth and the tooth fairy gave him $5. And I said, $5? Why do you have $5? I got 50 cents when I was a kid. And he said, well, 50 cents back then is what $5 is now. And I was like, he goes, yeah, it was probably 50 cents to get a candy bar then. And now it's $5. And I'm like, that's a little steep. But then I thought about how we went to Cumberland Farms just the other day. And he got like those Carmelo chocolate, I can't think what their Cadbury bar. It was like a big one, but it was $5. And I was like, oh my God, this is true. And then I was just thinking about how, like, is this just a new rate, the new cost of houses and interest rates? Because my house, my mortgage is $227,000, and if I wanted to buy it today, I had to pay over $500,000, and my interest rate is 3.2. I'm looking in like home equity loans and line of credits for potential future investment property, and the interest rates are like 8 at best. That's insane. And then they're like, you should just refinance your entire mortgage into this and have one big mortgage. And I'm like, I'm not giving up my 3.2. Effer.
Did you just buy a house less than 6 months ago? Then this message is for you. Stop looking through Zillow. Stop looking at homes, because buyer regret is very real. So if you just bought a home within the last 6 months, maybe even the last year or so, remember, there will always be better homes than the one you bought. And there will always be worse homes than the one you bought. So do yourself a favor, lay off Zillow. There's a reason why you decided to put in an offer for that specific home. There's something that you liked about it. So stop stalking Zillow and make sure you enjoy your home as it is.
The top 10 home buyer regrets, how you can avoid them. Part 1. Number 1, not doing inspections. We're just coming off a couple years of a crazy competitive market. A lot of buyers waived inspections completely in order to get the property. and now they're regretting it. Not knowing can cost you, can even kill you. At minimum, get a physical general inspection, a termite or pest inspection, sewer line or septic. Those 3 things should give you a pretty good idea of the condition of the property. Beyond that, there's mold, radon, pool, but you want to look at the whole property, including fencing, garages, outbuildings. You might be taking the property as is, but you're going to want to budget for things that you're going to have to repair. Number 2, not getting an insurance quote early on. With all the wildfires and the floods in California and in other states, homeowners insurance has skyrocketed. I've seen policies that years ago would be $1,200, $1,500. Now they want $20,000 or more a year if you're in a flood or a high fire zone. So one of the first things you do when you know this is a property you want to buy, call your insurance person and get a quote. Make sure it's in your budget. Number 3, not talking to the neighbors. The neighbors are going to tell you everything. Who the one crazy person on the street is, or it might be them. They'll tell you the bad and the good. And make sure to tell them about yourself. If you have dogs that bark, lots of parties, they're going to let you know who on the street is going to have a problem with you. There's nothing worse than a bad neighbor. So better to find out before you close than after. Number 4, not getting a copy of the seller's utility bills. We all know energy costs have gone way up, and some homes are more efficient than others. It's not safe to assume anymore that the utilities are going to be affordable. Ask for copies of the bill from both winter and summer, and make sure that's within your budget. And it's probably going to go up from there. And number 5, not reading all of the paperwork. This is so common. A lot of times people sign without reading, and they trust their real estate agent to decipher and communicate anything important. It's all important. Read the contracts before signing, the HOA documents, the title report. People will close on a property and move in and immediately start getting fines from an HOA saying their dog is too big, or they found a major defect that they accepted because it was disclosed to them, but they didn't read. Yes, it's boring, but it's so important. Part 2 for the next 5.
I'm going to say it. It might be a little controversial, but I'm going to say it. I don't think buying a house is all it's cracked up to be. I don't. I said it. There is so much pressure to settle down to buy a house, especially when you have children. And I just want to say it's not that easy for everybody. I think it's easier to settle down and find and like stay put when you have family, or like you're super close with your family, like you have a hometown. Does that make sense? I'm so thankful for our house and so thankful that our kids have so much land to just run free. However, we know we won't be here forever. So, I know, I thought this was gonna be forever. We thought so too. But we live in an area where the schools are horrible. Bad. I will never send my kids to school here. So if I ever want to put our kids in school, we have to move somewhere else where the schools are better. Living in the woods is great, but it is hard being a mother, and I will say I miss the community. I miss walking around. I miss the community pool, the community park. So in 5 years or whatever, I hope that we can find something that makes Tyler and I both happy. And I'm not really sure I want to buy another house for a very long time. So I'd rather rent. And I know people say owning a house is cheaper. Not right now. Rent would be way cheaper than a mortgage. At least for us. We also can't just call up a landlord and be like, hey, this is going wrong, please fix it. No, we have to call a company and be like, hey, this is going wrong, and then we have to pay them money, lots of money. So that's just my 2 cents on buying a house. And I don't like feeling stuck, and buying a house makes me feel stuck. So don't ever feel bad for renting and just being in a rental, because honestly, I miss it.
So I was just sitting here thinking about some regrets that I had when I purchased my first house. So honestly, when I bought my first house, I just bought a house that was way too big for what I needed. And you're probably wondering, okay, why is that a big deal? For starters, when you start getting those light bills and water bills and the upkeep and the maintenance, and then when you have rooms that are just literally sitting empty and collecting dust, but you still gotta vacuum it and cleaning it, then you start seeing your mistake. Long story short, I ended up selling that house. I originally had 4 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms. I now have 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, which is a lot easier to manage. But long story short, if you're thinking you're gonna grow into the house, yeah, don't do that. Unless you really are going to have a kid in the very, very near future and that's already planned, yeah, like, do not do that. It's such a waste of money.
Hey guys, so I did a post not too long ago on Threads about just affordability and how much things cost now. I feel like, yesterday was worse probably, but last year, things were creeping up. But this year has just been a whole new range, and I'm not just talking about housing, I'm talking about everyday things that we use, what are the main things? Food. Food is an easy one. That's gone through the roof. I mean, if you like meat, you better get a second or third job to buy meat because it is so damn expensive. But going back to housing, just with what's happened with the rates, the mortgage rates within the last week and a half, really ever since the conflict's been going on. I'm not going to get into all that, but it's just shaken our markets up so much, and the volatility and the chaos, honestly, has shaken the markets so much that we're up to 7% mortgage rates. And so if you're a first-time home buyer that's, thinking this was the year, I mean, I'm sorry to say, this is just, my heart goes out to you because it's phased out so many people, so many millions of people that came into this year thinking this is the year. This is the year I'm going to buy a house. This is the year that I could get married. This is the year that I could have kids. I don't know. But, the house dream is just having to be put on the back burner again. I did a stat not too long ago, several videos back, but it's every year, 5 million Americans turn 30. Think about that. Every year. I mean, I don't know what was going on in the 1990s. I was a kid, but 1990s, there was a baby boom or something in early 1990s. So think about that. So, so 32, yeah. So 1995, I think, was the boom. So people would be 32. So any in that 30 to 32 range, 5 million Americans turn 30 years old that I think would love to buy a house. I mean, think about it. Would love to buy a house. But when you got 7% interest rates, it's just unattainable. And so my heart really does go out for those people. But we're all feeling the pinch. Everything is more expensive. So if you can relate to this video at all, just give me a thumbs up or a like or whatever. But it's just the affordability crisis is really the main thing. And I'll admit, and I agree. I mean, these homes, some of these home prices that I see, I'm like, what is going on? Because it is just so damn expensive. Everything is so damn expensive. So, hey, I can relate. It's not a real fun, easy time right now. So, anyways, if you can relate, give me a thumbs up or a hi or, see you later. I don't know. Talk to you later. Bye.
My mortgage is going up by over $500 a month, so let's talk about it. I live in a starter house. If you saw my house, we would all agree that I live in a starter house, and my mortgage is already $4,300 a month. However, I got a letter in the mail saying that my mortgage is actually increasing, and it's now going to be $4,800 a month. It's going from $4,300 a month to $4,800 a month, and I've owned this house for 18 months. I bought it in the summer of 2024, so do the math. It's not even been 2 years at this point, and that doesn't factor in any of the improvements that I've made on this house. I've already poured over $75,000 into this house. I'm constantly putting money into updates because it's outdated. It needs updates, it needs repairs, just all of the things that come with being a homeowner. And a couple years ago, I made a video talking about why I never wanted to own a house, and I talked about things like this. And my feelings are the same. I am very grateful and very fortunate that I was able to buy a house in the area that I did buy a house in. It is a great area. It's a great school district. But genuinely, the fact that I'm 28 years old and have a mortgage that is essentially $5,000 a month for a starter house that I still have to update and take care of and repair just feels absolutely criminal.
You bought a new house and it's supposed to be all rainbows and butterflies, right? Wrong. If you're new here, hey, my name's Mason. My husband and I bought a house in October. November, we thought we made a $500,000 mistake. We were flooded with ideas when we moved in. Homesteading, livestock, a 2-bedroom apartment. All of that came tumbling down within the first month. And we're going to take you along with us while we turn this $500,000 disaster into our dream property. So you tell me if you've ever been in this position or a similar situation and what you did to fix it. As always, follow along for more updates.
I think one of my biggest pieces of advice for first-time homebuyers, and one of my regrets, so learn from my mistakes, is to slow down. Most of my first-time homebuyers, myself included, are buying fixer-uppers, right? Like, it's where we live is super expensive. Most of them need a little bit of work, and you want it done so fast. Sit on it for a little while. See what works in the house. See what floors you like. Figure out your style. Make a Pinterest board. I immediately got a new privacy fence. Ordered a custom back door, like new carpet. Honestly, looking back, I spent way too much money. And then I would make more money and I would still spend it because I wanted to get the house done, and it's still not done. And also, I didn't know my style and what I wanted. So now looking back, I would honestly change a lot of what I did. Even if you have it, don't spend all your money, please. That is one of my biggest regrets, and it doesn't happen overnight. Making a house a home takes time, and I mean, here I am 3 years later, still renovating, obviously. So it's just chill out a little bit. Just chill, feel the house, figure out what you like, save up a little bit of money, and just know that you're gonna get there eventually, but making a house a home does take time.